So we're going to continue our talk about functions. So from that decimals activity, we talked about inputs and outputs a lot. So for the purposes of this, let's get down a definition for a function. A function is a special relationship, like Mr. Mac and his wife. No, not that kind of relationship. Relationship between values. So it's a special relationship between values, semicolon. You might remember with a relation yesterday, or Friday, no, that would have been Thursday. A relation was any ordered pairs makes a relation. A function is a special relationship between values where each input x has exactly one output y. So that's kind of really important. It has exactly one output y for each input x. So to go with this, you'll often hear me say each domain has exactly one range. So if you remember from the last notes we took, domain is possible x values, range are possible y values. So you'll also hear me say each domain has exactly one range. It means the same thing. Each input has one output. Each x value has one y value. Each domain has one range. That's all the same thing. So here's an example of a function. Whoo! Look at that bracket, baby! Sorry. I get excited when I draw a good bracket because I'm not very good at it. It's the little things, right? Sorry if I alarmed you with that. I got pretty excited. I've made a better one before, but for me this is like top 5 percentile. So let's look at point. Let's say we have point 0, 6, 5, negative 2, 7, 9, and 11, 1. So here is a function because each domain has exactly one range. Right? All my domains are different, so it'd be impossible in this set to double up on domains with different ranges, right? Here's a set, though, that is not a function. All right, so that's the example of one that is a function. Here's one that is not a function. See, not that good that time. It's all right. Try again. We'll try again next time, Mr. Mac. So I have negative 4, 1, negative 1, 7, negative 1, negative 2, and 5, 6. All right, and this one is not a function because I have input 1, negative 1, pump out a 7, and pump out a negative 2. And to be a function, each domain can have exactly one range. In this non-example, domain negative 1 has 2 different ranges. Not a function. We go with that? I hope we're good with that because I want you to practice this on the 4 sets below. Just a yes or no, is it a function or not? And I would suggest doing it lightly in pencil. If you're not 100%, that's cool. I don't expect you to be 100% yet. Reference the definition over and over. Make your best shot at it, and we'll go over it in a moment. All right, I'm going zoomer heavy here. Nate, number 1 there. Function, yes or no, and why? Whoa! 1 second. For some reason, if you go from mute to unmute, Spotify just starts playing. Okay. Sorry, Nate.
Yes.
Yes. Why do you say that?
Well, all the X numbers are different.
Yeah, so there's no way to double up that range, is there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for helping. Braden, number 2? So if this was like a negative 4 right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it would be a function. Oh man, I wrote no, it's not. Nope. So the reason again here is I have domain 2 have two different ranges, okay? Yeah, but I like how Braden pointed that out. If this over here said 2, -4, and it didn't say that, then it would be a function because domain 2 would have the same output. All right, number 3. I'm going to ask Sabine. Number 3, function or nah? I did talk just a little out of phone, please. Nah. Why not?
Because there's 2 -3s.
Yeah, so you can have 2 -3s. However, if you have -3 twice, you need the same range. You need the same y value. Great. And number 4, I'm going with Jaden. Function or not?
Yes, because none of them are like no.
Because each domain has exactly one range. All right, thanks for the help, Zoomers. So I want y'all to do the same thing here. I want you to go through this. Just give me yeses or nos and be ready to justify it. 5 through 13 here. Pay special attention to those graph mapping diagrams. Those are my personal favorite to look at. All right. And again, if you forget, like, oh, what am I looking for? Just go back to the definition. Each input has to have exactly one output. Let's roll through these, function or not. So number 5, we're going to go to some rumors for this one, Zoomers. We got to share the love a little bit. All right, Jack.
I said no.
Jack says nah. I agree. Input 3 has 2 outputs. Tyler, what about 6?
I said yes because there's all different inputs.
All different inputs. Cool. 7, Oliver.
I said yes.
Each input has a different output. Number 8, Ezra.
I don't know because number 8.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It's a no because input 4, domain 4 has 2 different ranges, okay? Number 9, Grin.
I said yes.
That's the most common wrong one. Each domain has one range. It works, right? Domain -8, only a -1. Domain -4, only a -1. Domain 0, only a -1. Domain 4, only a -1. Domain 8. This is like the vending machine full of Swedish fish, right? It goes to a specific spot, but Swedish fish is the only option coming out. Okay. And number 10, Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, each domain has one range. Leah, number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have 2 different domains going to the same range, but that doesn't mean no, right? Each one of those domains has one range and still works. Number 12, Tyler.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the one I want to look at. Domain -1 has a range of -1 and a range of 7. It'd be no, yeah. Because each domain can only have one range. So, like, remember that function machine, Tyler? We can't, -1 wouldn't go into that machine and pump out 2 different things if it was a function, right? So, like, every time that 15 went in to the first one, it'd pump out a 5. 15 goes in, pumps out a 5. 15, if it pumps out something different, then not a function. Cool. Awesome. Last one, Jack.
I said it was yes.
Yeah, yes. Remember, 2 domains can have the same range because each domain has one range. Okay, cool. Leah, I can't believe you didn't know we had the vertical line test today.
Yeah, I'm a little.
I hope you studied. All right. The vertical line test works because each domain only has one range. And for us just to write down something that, all looks the same, I wrote something down. If a vertical line intersects a graph more than once, it is not a function. So if a vertical line intersects a graph more than once, it is not a function. So I want you to think a little bit about Frankie Fresh here. Remember when Frankie Fresh birthed that clone yesterday? Or Friday? Okay, what did the graph look like when the clone was born? Kind of like a circle. So, check this out. So thinking about that Frankie Fresh one, right? It went something like, the graph kind of looked like this, right? Something like that. So if I put a vertical line through there, how many times would that vertical line touch my graph? Twice, right? Which means not a function. That's why, because in that graph it was saying like at 3 seconds, all of a sudden there's 2 Frankie Freshes yesterday, right? Not a function. But the original graph from yesterday kind of looks something like that, correct? Would you guys agree? And anywhere I put a vertical line, does it ever cross more than once forever there? No, so that is a function. Function, not a function. And again, the reason that vertical line test works is actually I'll show you down the next examples. Yeah, Jack. Okay, so let's use this vertical line test to say, is it a function? And let's just, I can see your faces, or at least your ceilings for a couple of you. But everybody, let's just vote. Number 14, function, yes or no. So raise your hand for yes function. Raise your hand for no for function. You got to raise your hand, guys.
Wait, you said both.
Yeah, you said both.
So raise your hand for yes a function. For number 14. Raise your hand for yes a function. Raise your hand for no. Okay, so the answer is no, because of this line right here. See this vertical line right there? Notice how many points does it cross? 2. And here's why. Here's why that pumps out a no. Those points are -3, 1, and -3, -4. So looking at the input-output, what do you notice about input -3? 2 outputs. That's why the vertical line test is going to work. Because if it's a vertical line, they'll have the same x value. And for each x, you can only have one y. If it crosses more than one place, you're going to have multiple y's for the same input. So looking at number 15, can you get a vertical line across anywhere but more than once? No. So it is a function. It passes. We're passing the test today. Leah, you didn't even study. I think you're passing the test right there. So number 16, I'm going to go to Ace. 16, give me a yes or no for a function and then why.
I think it is a function because you can't put a line anywhere that goes over.
I can't get a vertical line to go through it twice, can I? All right, Owen, what about 17?
I think no,
Why?
because it loops around and hits vertical line.
Well, I can have a loop. Let's talk about this vertical line. What happens if I put a vertical line somewhere on the left? How many places is it going to cross, Owen?
You say it again.
If I put a vertical line somewhere on the left side of my graph here, how many places is it going to cross my graph?
All the places where there's a loop.
Okay, but how many places am I going to intersect my graph if I make a vertical line on the left side somewhere?
2.
2, yeah. Which the vertical line test says not a function. That's because this domain here of -2 has 2 different ranges, not a function. Okay, 18. Let's go, Jack R. Yes, no, and why?
I would say this is not a function
What?
because anywhere in the middle where the circle is, you could put a straight line down. Like even the y line that dictates where 0, 0
Yeah.
is, goes through 2 lines.
In fact, the only 2 places you could put a vertical line and it only touches once would be right there and right there. Everywhere else is 2. You guys see that Froggy Fresh situation there? Yeah. No, not Froggy Fresh. That's a funny YouTube rapper that you shouldn't look up. Frankie Fresh. Okay, number 19. This is an absolute value function. And I'm going to go to Leah. Let's see if Leah can pass the test.
Oh,
Yes or no, and why?
yes, because you put a line through anywhere and it only
You can't ever get a vertical line to go through it twice. All right. Number 20. Max.
So on number 20, that would be yes.
So let's do a vertical line test. Tell me how many places it crosses. You ready?
Wait, what?
Is it crossing more than once?
So no, I guess.
So, okay, why not?
Because it's all one single line.
Yeah, it's crossing how many times?
It's crossing. I don't know. I guess. I'm confused on
How many points are on a line?
that. Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Infinite, right? It's crossing infinite times.
Oh, okay.
All the rest they cross twice.
That makes sense.
That one's got all the crosses. You can't actually cross something more than that, I don't think. Okay, 21, Max. What do you think about that one?
On 21.
Is that a function?
That is a function.
Correct. A vertical line will only ever cross that once, right? Cool. Right here, how about that one? Yeah, this is Soldier Boy's favorite function. Did you know that? Do kids know who Soldier Boy is, or is he too old? Do you know why it's his favorite one? Jack's already shaking his head. He's saying, "Don't do it."
I don't know what this is.
Oh, I thought you were like, "Don't do it." Mister.
Smile.
No, it's his favorite because you. That's his song from him. Bryn knows what I'm talking about. That's Soldier Boy's favorite. In case you're wondering, that won't be on the test, Leah. Don't worry. All right, so we know what functions are. That's what your homework's going to be all about. It's on Go Formative. Make sure you're reading the directions well on there. There's a lot of show your work. But I did you a favor. I put like the images in the show your work section for you. Okay? Cool. Let's get after it. Let me know if you need anything.